Who is more important to that Lions' success, the offensive line or the defensive line?
I think it is really imperative to get to quarterback.
So I want to see sheer dominance by this offensive line because that's what we have. And they don't have to be the 90s Dallas Cowboys, but I think they have the ability to get there.
That is an elite offensive line if everyone stays healthy and plays to their potential.
In my mind, Sewell's a no-doubt gold jacket guy. There's been a lot of discussion around Lions camp, and I've heard it, we've seen it, we've heard the stories. Penei Sewell's been dominant. That offensive line has been dominant. D-Mac, Spencer has a question for you on our show sheet, and this one's pretty good. For the Lions to be successful this year, who is more important to that Lions' success, the offensive line or the defensive line? And I guess this question is open to interpretation to you, how you view success, how you value success.
The offensive line has to be as good as what everybody tells us they are. The top
With me leading the charge.
Right. The top paid offense needs to be led by this offensive line with what we have. So I want to see sheer dominance by this offensive line because that's what we have. We don't know what we have in the defense. So in going in where the expectations, right, is that we have this, that we're going to be dominant here. I want to know that what you're if you're telling me this now and you're showing me it, you've matched up. Because in the past with the Lions, what the same old Lions is this is what we got, and then you show me we don't have it. So I'm willing to wait as the clock winds down this season. That offense better be turning into something, and they don't have to be the 90s Dallas Cowboys blocking for Emmitt Smith or 2000, yet. But I think they have the ability to get there, and you want to see
hold on.
You
think
want to
about
see
that
that they're on that trajectory.
D-Mac, think about that statement you just said. Mm-hmm. That's powerful, man.
But that's what they're telling me. That's what I'm hearing coming out of there with looking at what we have with. So to me, even though I expect them to get better, it's Penei Sewell and Josh Jackson, and it's Elodie Vaitai to add to Frank Ragnow, who's coming back, right, and Taylor Lewan, and it's this unit, right? Because that's what you're telling me. Low key is that's what we have, so I want to see it. I agree with Spencer as far as the D line and with what we have, but we have a little bit of time for them to figure it out. This is the time. The figuring out has sort of had to have been done, and I know that how can you say that with Mitz and Ragnow for a year? It's going to be some adjustment, but I think it'll be less. I think there's more synergy on that line when you're plugging in your best player and the rest of them know what they're doing. So to me, it's got to be offense. I got to be looking at this offensive line as at least a top 5, arguably a top 3, but I got to see that there's potential of them to get there, right? How do I see that? Not only by how they protect the quarterback, but how, whether it's DeAndre Swift or Reynolds or Williams or Committee, that we continue to rush for over 4 yards. We make those gains. You see them, the eyeball test there. Not just what I'm told. Hey, wait and see. Wait, no. I can see it. I turn it on, and I see it. And it's the offense being that dominant.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam Flannel, offensive line, defensive line.
I am going to go offense as well, and quite simply, it's for the reason that I believe this offensive line, if everything goes right, if everyone stays healthy and lives up to the potential, can be the best in the NFL. Can Frank Ragnow be a first-team All-Pro center? I think he can. Can Penei Sewell make the leap and have his first step into being the gold jacket guy by making a Pro Bowl? I could see Taylor Decker being a Pro Bowler as well, and Jonah Jackson. That is an elite offensive line if everyone stays healthy and plays to their potential. And if the Lions have the potential of having the best unit at something in the NFL, I will take that over anything, any day of the week, and that would be just incredible.
Spencer Raxter, offensive line, defensive line.
I'm actually going to go defense. I think we know what we have in the offensive line, and I think they're going to do well, but I think it is really imperative to get to quarterbacks because we saw they couldn't do that at all last year. So I think we need this defensive line to succeed in order for our defense to succeed, and knocking the quarterback off of this spot, taking the quarterback out of the game are the things that mean the most and affect the game the most. So if you can do that at a high level with this defensive line, I think that results to winning games.
For me, here's the deal, and I can make a case for both. And I would say the offensive line, because they are a dominant unit. And D-Mac really shook me to the core because I hadn't thought about that with the Dallas Cowboys comparison. But, I mean, look, if it's what we say, right, if Frank Ragnow is a perennial Pro Bowler, that's the talk, right? Is he one of the best? Sam Flannel,
yes.
You're the legend killer. Is he discussed as one of the best centers in the league?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
So if there's that, and I think Sewell's a gold jacket guy.
I mean, I think Frank Ragnow could be a gold jacket guy myself, but when we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys of the 90s, that is the greatest offensive lineman that has of all time. They were able to be put together with no salary cap and just open up gaping holes for guys like Emmitt Smith, protect Troy Aikman, give him time to throw to Michael Irvin. I don't expect this Lions offensive line to be that good, but I expect it to possibly be the best in the NFL. No, I understand that. I'm just saying how great that Dallas Cowboys offensive line was.
But you see me working here though. Like let's work backwards, right? That's what I like to do. Let's work backwards from it then. In my mind, Sewell's a no doubt gold jacket guy, no doubt.
I could see that.
And you said it, which I lean towards. I haven't gone public with that. But Ragnow's a potential gold jacket guy, right?
100%.
Taylor Decker is very solid at what he does.
Yes.
He's an upper half of the league tackle. Is that fair?
Maybe top 10.
Okay. Upper half of the league. We can all agree on that, 100%. I think. You see what I'm saying here, man?
Here's the thing. You know how I relate this? Is last year, without Frank Ragnow, was like the Red Wings in 93, 94, my first year without Steve Yzerman. Right, where Sergei Fedorov and the rest of them had to sort of figure it out. The rest of the offensive line had to play without their best guy and figure it out, play out of position. They move, they draft Penei Sewell at left tackle. What do we see? We put him at right tackle, and he thrives there. So that versatility, right, and athleticism is gives me that potential. So if I'm going to shoot potential with the way the league's talking about me, with how we break it down, with the way that sports people are talking about me, then I'm shooting for the best. Yeah, you mentioned the fact that they were able to do it without the salary cap, but you're putting something in play where this is where your value, because I think that if we value our offensive line and look at them, and they might not have the Hall of Famers in the stats, but to that degree of being this version of those guys, then you're way ahead of it. I agree, you make the argument both. I like, what you said, the defense. The thing is I think the defense takes a little bit longer to figure out who they are and click, and it might be more the whole year or into the next year too. I'm willing to give them time, but if they can figure it out quicker, that's what speeds up the process. That's what speeds up what you see with drafting specific guys or getting specific guys in your lineup. That's how you go from worst to first or out of playoffs into a serious playoff contender in a matter of a few years.
Yeah, and maybe the Cowboys from the 80s or the 90s is a little too high of a bar to set, but can they be the Cowboys from the 2010s? That offensive line, when they had Travis Frederick, Lyle Collins,
I'm not calling
Zach
for
Martin.
it. Yeah, Spencer, I'm not calling for it. I'm just saying, when you got five that comprise a unit, and two of them are gold jacket guys, you're in that discussion, man.
Yeah, and that 2010 offensive line, like Travis Frederick, he's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. Lyle Collins might be in the Hall of Fame. Tyron Smith might be in the Hall of Fame. Like those. They had a fantastic offensive line there too, so I think that would be a really good, I can't even think of the word, a good benchmark to shoot at for this offensive line rather than the most dominant unit in the history of the sport.